Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Preimesberger, editor of eWEEK. Thank you very much for joining us today for this latest segment of eWEEK eSpeaks. It's a series of conversations we have with IT thought leaders from every corner of the business. This is our number 100 eSpeaks, so it's momentous. Jeff Cherrington of ASG, who is Vice President of Product Management for Systems at that company in the Midwest. Thank you for joining us today, and congratulations on being number 100 in our list.
Well, Chris, thank you. I'm quite honored to be at this very momentous occasion.
Thank you. I'm familiar with ASG, having spoken at their Resolve conference a couple of years ago, and have a great deal of respect for the company, but I'm still learning about the company like some other people are too. Jeff, tell us a little bit about your background and a little bit about what ASG does for people who don't know.
Well, in a soundbite, I joined ASG Technologies 2 years ago as the Vice President of Product Management for our systems infrastructure management offerings. I came to the company with more than 30 years experience working in enterprise IT, both on the buying side and the selling side. And the opportunity was really very intriguing for me because ASG as a company has been around for over 40 years. It has been reinvigorated with new investment and with new leadership here in the last 5 years or so. And we continue to have terrific success globally, serving customers in all geographic regions with their needs for content management, for systems infrastructure management, for data intelligence and data lineage. And we have some brand new offerings that are focusing on the low-code, no-code delivery of digital automation capabilities that are well-tuned to the interests of enterprises as they look toward their futures.
Well, we love talking about no-code and low-code at eWEEK. That's a huge trend. It has been around for over 20 years, but lately it just fits into system management. And you know, people don't often think about the management of all these systems and how they have to be organized to work efficiently and be up 24/7 and be accessible and usable with a good user interface so a lot of people can use them. Not easy to do that. And ASG has hung in there. And like you said, the company has been reinvigorated in the last 5 years. And I saw that 2 years ago when I was at the conference, the Evolve conference there in Chicago. And I met some of the new management there, and I was very impressed with their energy and their focus. So tell me a little bit about the Mobius platform, Jeff, what that does, and is that kind of the frontline bread and butter product at this point, or just one of many?
So it's fair to say that we've got two dominant portfolios at ASG. There is the content portfolio with the Mobius product that one of my peers runs product management for, and he could speak much more eloquently. However, it's fair to say that we are a certainly well-respected, highly analyst touted and reviewed content management offering that's available for all of the major enterprise platforms from mainframe to cloud. It's certainly something that we find our customers value greatly as the emphasis on content and all of its many different aspects within the enterprise has risen in importance. Now, my portfolio, we don't generate quite as much revenue for ASG as the content side does, but we're very close. A little friendly competition, if you will. And what we provide are the capabilities that are necessary for ensuring that the infrastructure that enterprises depend on is well-tuned in terms of performance and capacity planning, in terms of workload automation, and in terms of orchestration of both their operational value streams and their development value streams. And in fact, we're getting a very strong play in the emerging interest for DevOps that spans from, again, mainframe to cloud.
Mm-hmm. Is it fair to say, Jeff, that ASG has observability tools? By observability, it's a term that's been around in the background, but it's starting to come to the fore again. these are tools that are involved with monitoring different functionality, uh, recording, doing reporting on, and a number of other functions. Is that something that ASG does too?
It does. That's a large part of the portfolio that I support with our team-on mainframe performance monitors and our team-on PA distributed architecture performance monitors and capacity planning tools. Clearly, this is something that's become much more important, particularly in some of the experiences we've had recently with the changes in the weather patterns. That give the enterprises the opportunity to ensure that they are appropriately provisioned, that they're identifying choke points and points of failure quickly so that they can address them and ensure the enterprise continues to provide top quality user experience in terms of both availability and response times. I'm very excited to be talking about it here now because just this quarter, we're going to be introducing some very exciting new data visualization capabilities that takes this extraordinarily dense and broad set of metrics and put it in front of those who need to have the information in a way that is far more easy to consume, much more intuitive than what has been available previously.
Yeah, that's been one of the things I've observed in my time here at eWEEK in the last 15 years is that software, the user interfaces has just become so much better, easier to use, and the term you use, intuitive, so that people who aren't experts in a particular topic or a particular part of IT can use these tools. Now, let's talk about something topical now. We've got a huge blizzard that's come through, not blizzard, but a weather front that's come through the entire Midwest of the country, all the way down to the Gulf Coast, as frozen states, and the state of Texas, for example, is just now coming out of this. How would an ASG tool or a set of tools help administrators of power grids and utilities in this area? Are those tools germane to these kind of problems?
So at least there is some intersection. Now, the SCADA tools that are typically used for managing power grids are not necessarily those that are tools we support, operating systems we support directly. But as you would expect in any enterprise of any size, even the traditional or legacy SCADA operating systems are surrounded with distributed capabilities that make them much more useful. That's the infrastructure and network that any enterprise needs to exist. And certainly our performance tools that focus on the distributed side and the capacity planning tools that focus on the distributed side can contribute to that. Beyond that, almost every enterprise of any size, whether it is public or private, is going to have a significant dependency on workload automation. There's just so much activity that has to occur. There's so much balancing that has to be addressed between the need for interactive, the users, whether customers or employees, interacting with the system and the low response time expectations they have for that, or the batch that occurs when the records of truth are being updated, that you have to be able to ensure that your workloads are allocated appropriately, that they're executing with visibility and transparency, and that exceptions are quickly flagged so that they can be addressed. So in that regard, yes, though I'll make the comment that while I don't know the detail of every part of the Texas power grid management, I am confident that the majority of it is still using the legacy SCADA operating systems as opposed to a mainframe ZOS or a Intel Windows or a Linux sort of operating system.
What does SCADA stand for?
You know, you asked me, and I wish I could rattle it off, but it's the operating system that's most typically used for utilities. So things like power generation, gas transport, liquid gas, or natural gas transport and things of that nature. I'll be happy to look it up offline and provide it to your users, your readers, if that's helpful.
No, that's all right. I just wondered, and like several industries, many industries, it's these utilities are slow to move. They're slow to move their infrastructure to upgrade it. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's expensive. A lot of investment has been put in it in the past. The owners of the utilities want to be sure they're getting their money's worth. But you know what? I mean, everything wears out over time. And
it does. And maybe a little off topic, but if you would ever like to have me back, Chris, to talk a bit, I do talk on the vulnerabilities that our utility infrastructure has because of their dependency on SCADA to foreign agents. It's a topic that I'm asked to speak on from time to time around the country.
Oh, I'd love to hear you talk on that, because security, of course, is always at the top of the list for
absolutely
for the IT world. Problems to be solved, and measures to be taken to improve security. You can't be too secure, and the bad guys are always 2 or 3 jumps ahead of us because that's their job, is to be ahead.
And they only have to be right or successful once, whereas
right.
We, the defenders, have to be successful every time.
Yeah. Jeff, if you could leave our readers and our viewers with an overview headline or just a statement about the business value that ASG brings in general, how would you describe that?
So we do have capabilities that are critical to the appropriate management, delivery, and use of the critical content of the company, whether that is content that appears on a web page or content that's used in other aspects of the enterprise. And that's where we have tremendous value. We have equal value in serving that critical need that the Chief Technology Officer at JP Morgan Chase, when I worked for him, styled as keeping the lights on. Managing infrastructure is what keeps the lights on, and as the people in Texas and some other parts of the country are finding this week, that is so critically important, because without ensuring that you've got the systems available that drive your business, you can end up being left out in the cold, and no enterprise ever wants to experience that at any level.
And nobody in a home without heat wants to experience that either. So,
and our hearts and our prayers go out to those people.
Absolutely. I have many friends in the Austin and the Dallas area, and San Antonio also, and I know they're having a hard time there. They are coming out of it now. It's been almost a week, or no, it's been 5 days or so, but that's, even 1 day is too long. So
it is.
We hope they can get some changes made there, and this won't happen again. So Jeffrey Cherrington, Vice President of Product Management for the Systems
Portfolio, yes.
Portfolio, okay, I got it there, of ASG. Thank you so much for joining us today, and good to be reintroduced to the company.
Thank you, Chris.
And for everybody following along to the end here, have a great rest of your eWEEK. Thanks for joining us on eWEEK eSpeaks. Go to eWEEK.com to hear more conversations with IT thought leaders.